Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, it's a hot day, which it shouldn't be a hot day, but it is. But that's okay because we're going to deal with it. I'm going to be doing the bench press. I'm going to be adding chains to it. I'm also going to be doing some sled work in between for my giant set format. So let's pop into today's workout and let's get started. Now for today's giant set, I'm going to be doing the bench press, and later I'm going to be adding those chains off to the side, and I'm going to be tracking that in a total at the bottom of the screen. So that's going to be the total weight with the chains once I add them. And then once I'm done with the bench press, I'm going to be moving over and doing some strongman sled pulls in between. This is just a great way to get in that strongman strength. And then I'm going to backwards drag it back to the very beginning with just 110 pounds. The real point here was just to get a lot of conditioning in a very hot day. Now the reason why I'm using chains in this scenario is for two reasons. The first reason is it teaches you how to push harder once the weight gets heavy in the middle. Typically the hardest part of the movement is when it goes from the chest to the triceps, because that's where you have to lock it out. And that middle portion is where usually you're going to decide if you're going to make it or miss it. Using the chains and being able to push with speed through the middle will teach your brain actually how to move faster through the middle, so you're able to complete the lift, or at least the likelihood of completing the lift. And the second reason why I'm doing this with chains is because that middle portion up, where the bench press actually should be getting easier, actually gets a lot heavier, which throws a lot of emphasis and a lot of stress to your triceps. So this is a really good workout to do if you're trying to hit the triceps, which is what I was trying to do on this day. And so this ended up being the perfect combo that I needed to do in order to better myself both in the technique-wise of bench press and to strengthen my triceps. Now for my top set, I wanted to hit 340 pounds. So that's going to be 300 pounds on the bar, but then I'm going to add 40 pounds. So that's going to be a total of 340 pounds at the top of the lift. And one flew up very fast, but when I tried to go for two, you'll see that weakness where I had surgery on my left elbow, and with my foot slipping out, it ends up failing. And don't worry, those catches ended up saving my life, and I had to weasel my way out shamefully. The only thing that hurt on me was my pride. Trust me, that happens to me all the time. Woo, that was close. Now for all of those that always say when I'm lifting, oh, that's dangerous, you don't have a spotter, and blah, 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 blah. As you can see, this is the best spotter in the world. I've had spotters actually fail me, whether taking it off the rack and trying to place it directly over my midline of my chest, or trying to pick it up off my chest when I fail a lift. Typically, every human spotter I've ever had has typically not been up to par. But let me tell you, these arm guards right here have saved me more than a COVID vaccine has. That's just a political joke, so I'm sorry if you find that cheesy. But I'm gonna now focus more on really increasing my tricep strength. So here we go. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I continued to do the same exact sled work with the same exact weight, but I was using this football bar. Now I like this bar, and the reason why they call it a football bar is because a lot of linemen for football use this bar to bench press instead of a standard barbell. And that's because this bar is able to target your chest and mimics the natural movement it takes when you're on an offensive or defensive line and you're blocking or protecting that quarterback. So in this case, this is really hitting that chest in a different way. Since it's on the incline, it's really targeting the upper chest. But then using that grip also really puts a lot of emphasis on your triceps. So all I was trying to do today was do a lot of tricep work. And so when I thought about what can I do, especially since I missed that second rep, what can I do that can really emphasize the triceps in a pushing manner? This multi-grip bar, aka the football bar, is one of the best tools you can use in order to get better in that area. Well, now I'm sitting in the shade because it's getting even hotter, believe it or not. So what I'm gonna do now, in true giant set format now, I'm gonna do my assistance with doing some more chest and some tricep work. I'm gonna do some loaded carries with a tire, so that should be fun. And I'm going to continue to do the sled work, but now I'm going to do it in an ox drag style. and I'm going to add more and more weight. So that will be for the next couple of rounds. So let's see how this goes. Now for the assistance giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I had lessened the weight now to just body weight push-ups, but I'm doing it on that tire in a close grip fashion to really hit those triceps. And I'm going to be picking up the tire and carrying it across the bullpen. This is just really for conditioning and to practice strongman movements since it's awkward and heavy. And then I'm going to turn around and drag the sled back in an ox drag style where the straps are out in front of me so that my shoulders have to stabilize them, and then I move in such a manner. And then now that we're at the end of the workout, the sled is heavy and the pushing is easier. I'm just trying to finish off the chest and the triceps and trying to get some extra conditioning with this tire and the sled. But this is the heaviest one right here, 400 pounds. And I'll tell you, with the heat and with all the bench pressing I've done and all the work I've done up to this point, this was hard to do. But I'm happy that I was able to pull 400 pounds. I mean, how often can you say that somebody gets to do that? I don't know too many human beings that weigh 400 pounds, but if I need to lift one or drag one, I'm ready for this circumstance. All right, so that's the end of today's workout. Now, the sucky part about this is I am exhausted. I'm tired from the heat outside. The weights were heavy. My muscles are fatigued. And now I need to put away about 400 plates back into the garage. And I don't have any friends to help me do this. And typically when I do have friends and they need help lifting heavy things, they usually call me. I have nobody that I can call to help me lift heavy things. So I'm gonna have to figure this out on my own. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Thank you.